Thank you so much for watching Landom C Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. The Killers is a 1964 neo-noir crime film that was written by Gene Coon and was directed by Don Siegel. It's Hollywood's second adaptation of Ernest Hemingway's 1927 short story that had the same title. The first version was done in 1946, and there's also a Russian version that was done in 1956. The movie stars Lee Marvin, John Cassavetes, Angie Dickinson, and Ronald Reagan, along with the supporting cast that features Clu Gulager, Claude Akins, and Norman Feld. The storyline goes that after successfully evading capture for 4 years, the target is finally located by hitmen Charlie and his partner Lee, who are hired by an unknown individual. They are offered nearly 3 times the standard fee to eliminate Johnny North, who's a once-renowned race car driver. But Charlie is intrigued by the fact that Johnny appeared to anticipate their arrival and chose to confront them rather than flee, ultimately accepting his fate. Analyzing this situation, Charlie suspects that the hit is linked to rumors of Johnny's involvement in a $1 million heist. He theorizes that the generous payment for the contract indicates that the person who hired them possesses the stolen money, rendering their fee for the hit a mere smidgen of the total prize. Consequently, Charlie and Lee set out to track down this mysterious employer in hopes of claiming the remaining portion of that $1 million. As they delve into Johnny's past leading up to the heist, they repeatedly encounter a woman named Sheila Farr, who entered Johnny's life shortly before his final legitimate car race. Sheila may either be the one in possession of the money or an innocent bystander caught in the chaos surrounding Johnny's situation. The production was intended to be one of the early made-for-TV movies for a project that NBC had called Project 120, which was a series of films that was going to be released, but it never hit the airwaves. It was filmed under the title Johnny North, but NBC regarded it as being too violent for the broadcast, so Universal released the film theatrically instead. Steve McQueen and George Papard were considered for the role that eventually went to Cassavetes. After they gave the role to Cassavetes and he signed on to be this race car driver, the director, Don Siegel, found out that the actor could barely really drive. They actually considered the director, Siegel, to direct the 1946 version of the film, but he was eventually passed over for it. The main title and closing music was originally composed by Henry Mancini for Orson Welles' movie Touch of Evil from 1958, and it was drawn from the Universal Pictures music library and re-edited for this film. The movie has a first-rate cast, led by Lee Marvin's sleek, snub-nosed, menacing appearance and the edgy, thrill-seeking role that Angie Dickinson plays, which makes the project exude an almost Rat Pack cool to it. The shocking opening scene has 2 relentless hitmen, played by Marvin and Gulager, in matching shades and sharkskin suits, hunting down their prey, who's John Cassavetes, in a school for the blind. Their mission is accomplished amid a crowd of witnesses, but none of them can see. While the film was in production, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, which caused a delay in the production. Angie Dickinson actually cried hysterically and slumped to the floor. The director says that he had to go over with great difficulty to help her deal with what had just happened. You'll see that this is Ronald Reagan's final performance in a feature film. And he almost didn't do it. He refused the role of Browning at first because he was afraid that playing that bad character would interfere with his image as an actor or maybe a politician. In the past, he had never played a corrupt character, but eventually he accepted the role after having lunch with the director. In later years, when he was actively pursuing the American presidency, he would often be asked by journalists about the film, but he would avoid talking about it, even hinting that he regretted ever being in it. The very first scene that they ever shot in the production was an outside scene that ends up being the very last thing seen before the closing credits come on. And that's where Lee Marvin has been shot, and he falls down. They almost didn't film this scene the first day because Lee Marvin was so drunk. But the good thing about it, he didn't have to speak in it at all. So they went ahead and filmed it. And I think his drunkenness actually plays into it being a pretty good final shot. They deleted part of that ending scene where a cop kneels down by Lee Marvin's body, checking for signs of life. But it ended up on the cutting room floor, but photos of it still exist. Now, one interesting familiar face that you see playing the blind secretary at the Sage Home for the Blind is Virginia Christine. She also was in the 1946 production as well. She was a pretty prolific stage actress, radio, film, television, and voice actress. But most of us will remember her best as being Miss Olson from the Folgers Coffee commercials, a string of television commercials that tied her directly to that product of Folgers Coffee that ran from the 1960s through the 1970s. Now, Angie Dickinson is a delight to watch on the screen as she plays the part of Sheila Farr, Johnny's two-timing lover. She just has a natural sex appeal on the screen, and she wasn't afraid to really push what she did to stir up controversy on the screen, as well as in print. In March of 1966, Esquire magazine had a front page cover of her wearing nothing but a baby blue sweater and a pair of white pumps. Yeah, no pants at all. Now think about that. That was 1966. Just unheard of. She thought that leaving the pants off would make her naughty, but nice. And the only thing that she would have done differently would be that she wouldn't have the caption that read, "The Happiness of Angie Dickinson" on it. Because happy wasn't exactly what she was going for. Sultry was more her bag. Go back and watch this really fun film. I know you'll enjoy this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.